Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows and knows, he who knows not and knows that he knows not is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man. Follow him.
The lips of the righteous teachers of many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Vexation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy Why do you fight each other? Why do you kill your brother? Then your war will be the same tree. You reward will be the same.
Do when it's finished, just give me a knowledge is poll, and then instead of going back to yeah, loop it and come to me.
We got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation. Or there will be no beautiful you will be. The lips of the righteous, the teachers many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows, deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back.
The rich man's wealth is in the sea. Fixation of the soul.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. The Jamaica Stock Exchange will be hosting their 19th Regional Investments and Capital Markets Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel from January 23 to 25 under the theme Capital Markets Redefined, Achieving the Impossible. Join Power 106 FM for a live outside broadcast during Real Business, Thursday, January 25 from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, 81 Knutsford.
Then your wall will be the same
We started out this afternoon with that Persian apothegm, he who knows not and knows not that he knows is a fool, avoid him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a student, teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep, wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man, follow him. And we went straight into Fool's Die by Peter Tosh, and then Claude McKay's If We Must Die. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. Here in Jamaica, the month of January is still being observed as Earthquake Awareness Month and Soup Month. It's St. Vincent and the Grenadines Day in that country, and it's also St. Vincent's Day in Valencia, Spain. Valencia en España. Hoy es lunes el 22 de enero 2024 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est lundi le 22 janvier 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme allant de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Monday, the 22nd of January, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
The lips of the righteous teachers of many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city.
And as we think about these things, it's rather instructive that Francis Bacon was born on this day in 1561. He was an English philosopher, statesman, and essayist. It was Francis Bacon who described the inductive method of reasoning. His works include Essays, 1625, The Advancement of Learning, 1605, and Novum Organum, 1620. A couple of examples of his work. He says, "We see then how far the monuments of wit and learning are more durable than the monuments of power or of the hands. For have not the verses of Homer continued 2,500 years or more without the loss of a syllable or letter, during which time infinite palaces, temples, castles, cities have been decayed and demolished?" He also told us that young men are fitter to invent than to judge, fitter for execution than for counsel, and fitter for new projects than for settled business. He goes on to tell us that men of age object too much, consult too long, and adventure too little. He goes further. Certainly, it is good to compound employments of both, because the virtues of either age may correct the defects of both. Rather timely. And also rather timely is the birth of the romantic poet George Gordon, Lord Byron, born on this day in Aberdeen, Scotland. He had a Jamaican connection, we should tell you. That connection was Robert Charles Dallas of the famous Dallas family from Jamaica and later Texas in the United States. Robert Charles Dallas wrote the history of the Maroons. He was well known in English literary circles. His nephew was Lord Byron, whose early poems he helped to publish. And as we said, Lord Byron was born on this day in 1788 in Aberdeen, Scotland. Despite his later fortune and title, he grew up in poverty, as is usually the case in a number of these instances of those who have gone on to do exceptionally well. So he was well known in literary circles. Despite his later fortune, he grew up in poverty and was burdened by a club foot. At age 10, he inherited his great uncle's title and became Lord Byron. He attended Harrow, then Trinity College, Cambridge, where he ran up enormous debts and pursued passionate relationships. His first published volume of poetry, Hours of Idleness, was savaged by critics, especially in Scotland, and his second published work, English Bards and Scotch Reviewers, attacked the English literary establishment. After taking his master's degree in 1809, he traveled in Portugal, Spain, and the Near East for 2 years. His experiences inspired his poetic work, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. And we could go on. The history is quite extensive and expansive. But we thought we'd share that with you here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And guess what happened around 3:30 p.m. on this day in 1907? That's an easy one. That's a giveaway. What happened in Jamaica at 3:30 p.m. in 1907 on this day? If you think you know the answer, message us or call us. What happened on this day at 3:30 p.m. in 1907? Let's see if we have anyone responding yet. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And there are tons of messages, and this is not an exaggeration. It's a lot. Might not be able to go through all of them today, but as we always say, the least we can do is to acknowledge your messages. After all, you have taken the time. So someone says, we had an earthquake. Yes, we did. It happened at 3:30 p.m. on this day in 1907. 1907. So at 3:30 p.m. on this day in 1907, oops, we don't have the time to tell you right now. Stay tuned though, perhaps when we come back from today's edition of Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life. It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515.
Power 106 FM, the digital sound, now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the App Store. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the OneSpot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly Ann McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly Ann McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Save for retirement now. No matter how young you are, plan for your retirement now. With the power of compound interest, when you start saving in your 20s, you will earn interest not only on the principal you deposit, but also on the interest you earn over time. And you will have what you need to retire someday. Company-sponsored retirement plans are a great choice. Not only do you get to put in pre-tax dollars, but many companies will also match part of your contribution, which is free money. If you don't start early, you may end up needing to work much longer to catch up on your retirement savings. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Record your expenses. The first step to start saving money is figuring out how much you spend. Keep track of all your expenses. That means every coffee, household item, and cash tip, as well as regular monthly bills. Record your expenses however it's easiest for you. A pencil and paper, a simple spreadsheet, or a free online spending tracker or app. Once you have your data, organize the numbers by categories such as gas, groceries, and mortgage, and total each amount. Use your credit card and bank statements to make sure you've included everything.
'Tis the season, and OneSpot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Get 30% off our 6-month subscription plan and receive 1 month free special access to Gleena Premium. Dive into this world of exclusive content and enjoy live TV, live radio, thousands of hours of video on demand, the eGleaner, events, podcasts, and more. Simply log into onespotmedia.com and purchase the 6-month subscription plan. Get in with the joy of the holidays, all in one spot. Offer ends January 31. Conditions apply.
It's Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and you know what that means. It's time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876 922 4113 to 5. 876 922 4113 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions: 876 387 3183. 876 387 3183. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. All are encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the law offices of Brown, Findley and Company. And our host on this afternoon's edition of Land Solutions is attorney at law and the founder of this feature called Land Solutions, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan, and good afternoon, listeners. Welcome again to Land Solutions. And as the name implies, we're here to solve your land problem. So you want a title for your property, you want to buy land, sell land, probate a will, write a will, administer an estate. Give us a call for the many questions, the many challenges you're having in relation to land. Because we're recognizing as a people that the land stock is becoming very valuable. And persons are appreciating the value of land even more than ever. So we're encouraging those who own land, the family land, or we call it the generational land, protect your land. Protect your land. Do not just leave it like that. I say those outside of Jamaica and the diaspora, look about the family land. If you don't want it, you're not coming back. How about selling it then? Always I say, before you sell, value. Do not make arrangements with your friends in America to say, I have a piece of land, I'm going to be selling it to you, and you don't have an idea what is valued. 10 million might sound valuable, might sound like a lot, but it might be valued 25. So value before you sell. I want to look at a situation, just to speak to the justice of the peace, because I had a situation the other last week where I sent a document to a client, and the client went to a justice of the peace, and the justice of the peace realized that the client's name was spelled wrong. And I instructed the client to ask the justice of the peace to just cross out the name, write the name, or the client could do that, and the JP said he could not sign a document that's crossed out. So just to tell the justice of the peace that any document can be crossed out. Even when you send documents to the court will instruct you, let the JP who witness the document initial and sign. So when you're going to ask the client, and if the client's mistake, the client is going to more than likely have to pay the lawyer to print over the documents again. The client is going to have maybe make a very long journey to get back to the lawyer. So it might cost the client thousands of dollars, when all you have to do is to cross out the Angela and write it with one L instead of the two, initial it, let the person who signed also initial, and you just put your seal there. So please remember, every document can be crossed out, JPs. Just initial, let the person who is signing the document initial as well, and just put your seal. And then that is signed. The RGD will say, ask the lawyer who signed the document for you or the JP to cross out and initial. So that is acceptable. So it's not necessary to let the client incur the extra expense when that can be done. The numbers to call 922-4113 to 5. And the text line is 387-3183. You can also send a WhatsApp message to that number, 387-3183. And I had another experience I had last week, where I said I just needed to share this one. It has nothing to do with land. But you know, as we say in Jamaica, ears set at wrong place. Ears set at wrong place. Your ears at a place where sometimes you hear things you're not supposed to hear. I was in a pharmacy last week, and a gentleman came into the pharmacy. When I went and saw him in the pharmacy, and he was discussing with the pharmacist, he wanted to understand why it is that his blood sugar could not go down. He came for his medication, and he and the pharmacist were in discussion. And he was asking the pharmacist about certain foods, if he could eat certain foods. And he was saying, the pharmacist was saying to him, he was asking the pharmacist about mangoes in particular, and the pharmacist was saying to him, no, mangoes, a diabetic shouldn't be eating a lot of mangoes. But the man said, what you're saying, and sometimes I climb the mango tree and just sit down in there and eat mango. He said, sometimes I climb the mango tree and just sit down in there and just eating mangoes. Because it's the gentleman says, a banana. So when I'm eating bananas, I eat all 4 of them one time. Because it's fruit. And it brought into sharp focus the same question that I would be asked, that we're asking about in relation to land solutions as well. The lack of knowledge in relation to our people. The lack of knowledge. So many of our people don't have knowledge about basic things, because even land-related matters. I have gone to give talks. I've gone to responsibility to do a little bit more in educating Jamaicans, We really, really need to do a little bit more in educating our people. There's so much lack of knowledge, and so many of the persons who know who don't know. They are both wrong and strong. So wrong and strong. Many of our people. You can't tell them otherwise. So we really have to try to see how we can do something to bridge this information gap, this lack of information in terms of our people. So much knowledge is lacking. And I mean, it's the same on my side, because I'm sure many things medical I don't know. But I've always said about us that if you want to hide something from us, put it in a book, which is sad, but probably true. We just have to see how as a country we can educate our people more. And some persons are saying to us that it's in the interest of sometimes the politicians to keep us ignorant. But we have to do something about this lack of knowledge. And which is why a program like this is so helpful, because wherever I go, I hear people say how much they have learned from Land Solutions, and that's the aim. As I said, the aim is to create a lot of village lawyers so people can have the knowledge. Let's not hide it. Let's give it to the people. I have a question that a message a client sent to me, which I found very interesting. The client says, the listener says, my mother died some years ago, leaving 2 children. My sister died some years after my mother. We were the only 2 children. My mother did not make a will, and my sister did not make a will. I have been advised by an attorney that my sister's husband should get a portion of the property. My sister did not have any children. And now I've been advised by an attorney that my sister's husband is to get a portion of the property. This that is something which I don't see how that relates to it. My mother did not even like my sister's husband. That has nothing to it. If mama did not want him to get a portion, she would have made a will. So the reality is that your mother died and left 2 children. Your sister died after your mother. So when your mother died, half of the property was hers. When your mother died, half of the property would belong to you and half belonged to your sister. When your sister died, having not left a will, her parents, I take it for granted, her father is dead, her mother has died, then her next of kin would be her husband. So the husband would be entitled. I suspect I'm up on a break.
Yes, you are.
Yes, this is Gloria Brown, and this is Land Solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Babe, I thought you fixed the roof.
Yeah, man. I used some duct tape and some bubble gum.
What? That never worked. The roof's still leaking.
Well, I couldn't find any rope. What you expect?
The roof have to do with roof? We're going to Hyper A Super Center. Don't just try that thing. Do it like a pro. Get everything you need for your next project at Hyper A Super Center. Tools, housewares, paint, plumbing, hardware, and gardening supplies. Plus a whole lot more. Only 15 minutes from Kingston off the new Mandela Highway. Open till 6 p.m. Hyper A Super Center. It's all here.
I've been hearing about this constitutional reform thing. You know anything about it?
Yes, constitutional reform is a chance for us to Jamaicanize the constitution.
But how?
Enough things changed since 1962, and we've matured as a nation. So modernizing the constitution will reflect our current societal values.
Oh, a constitution for Jamaicans, approved by Jamaicans.
Are you ready for the journey? Join us on the road to Republic. Think independence, think Republic. A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. And here's a reminder that there's a website, landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And all are asked to call ahead before turning up at the law offices of Brown, Findley and Company. Let's turn you over once again to attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Remember the numbers to call 922-411-325 and the text line 876-387-3183. 387-3183. And remember, you can also send an email to gloria@landsolutionsja.com. I owe $1 million on a micro loan. It was secured by a property valued at $30 million. I'm unable to get a higher loan due to my low income and now unable to pay properly. Can the debtor sell it for the balance, including the interest? Is there a minimum percentage for cease and sale? All right, there's a minimum value. When you see, sometimes you ask persons to do a valuation for you, and you see they give you two values, and you wonder why. One is the market value, and one is the forced sale value. So the bank is not supposed to sell for less than that amount. I'm a little concerned about this, though, that you're telling me about. So I'm going to ask you after the program to give me a thought, because what you probably need to be looking at is refinancing your loan, because it will be sad for the bank to sell your $30 million, or whoever you borrowed from, to sell your $30 million property for $1 million loan. And this might be controversial, but I'm saying to a lot of my listeners who are going out and borrowing money from many lending institutions, be careful. 1%, when you hear, oh, it's only 1% a week, sounds fine, but that's 52%, because there are 52 weeks in the year. So whenever the interest rate is not quoted, like in terms of a year, be warned. Be warned, because remember, it's a lot of institutions lending at 9% a year. You borrow 1% a week, which is 52%, which means that in 2 years' time, whatever you have borrowed will double. So these are things that persons need to speak to persons, get in the know before, okay, a lot of times before you go into these situations. But I'm going to talk to you a little afterwards. Also, I am honored. Remember, I've said to persons who cannot afford legal assistance, for those who are near to Kingston, that the Bethel Baptist Church Legal Aid has a clinic every morning, every Saturday morning from 10 to 12. Every Saturday from 10 to 12, the Bethel Baptist Church Legal Clinic. There's a clinic there with excellent attorneys. I am on the 9th of March. That's the date I am on. So those who can't afford my services at Winchester or Oterius, and you want to see an attorney at a cost you can afford, because the fee there is, I think it's $500 person still paying. This is an opportunity. I'm on the 9th, but you have excellent attorneys on every Saturday morning. You don't have to go to see me or to see Calicio. There are attorneys on who will be able to give you the guidance, help you to write the will, sort out the different matters. They deal with any matter, criminal matter, or different matters. So it's a good opportunity. Unfortunately, many of you are out of town, so that will not be able to assist you. Let me just repeat what I said, though, at the beginning of the program, to talking to my Justice of the Peace. Please remember that you can cross out a document. So somebody should approach you, and they bring a document to you, and when you look, the name is ANGLA, but their correct name is ANGLLA. You can just cross out that name where it appears. Usually that name is a declaration. It's going to appear 3 times in the document. The front part where the name is repeated, and 2 times in the attestation, the signing part. Cross out the name that is there, put the right name. You initial it, the person who is signing initial it, and you just put your seal there, and that's good enough. If it's a court document, it's good enough. If it's for RG, it's good enough. If it's for titles office, if it's the passport office, all of those persons. Okay, all of those institutions, any document can be crossed out. So please don't send clients and say, I can't sign it because it's wrong. Okay? Sometimes when the clients come and I see the clients with that document crossed out by the JP and initial, I say, oh, you went to one of those wise, experienced JPs. And they will say, yes, this person was an older JP. You know, you can know the JPs who are, what the things that the JPs should be cautious about is going and dealing with land papers for people where you're helping persons to buy and sell land. Those are the things that you need to be careful about. But in terms of signing documents, you know that this is the person in front of you. They show you their ID, you realize the name is wrong. You can go ahead and cross out. But careful JPs, or you're dealing with persons and filling out common law titles and receipts for persons selling land. People selling land because my mother died and she had land, so I'm selling it. You can't be selling your mother's land because she's dead. It doesn't work like that. So the person who has bought is going to have a very long wait getting a title. Sometimes that person has to wait 12 years. My mother having died, leaving, and she has left land. I do have the authority to sell her land. Even the husband won't have the authority to sell the wife's land when the wife dies. You have to go and administer the estate, or there's a will, you probate the will. And then the executor or the administrator can go ahead and sell. But you can't just get up and say, Mama did, and before she died, she said I should sell it. And a lot of the persons who are buying these lands are unsuspecting people living abroad. And many of you were owners, Miss Brown, you can't get the title for me yet. And I said to you all, what gone bad and morning, it's hard to come good evening. So you go to market and buy trouble. A lot of that trouble not going to sort out for now. People have land settlement land and you go and buy a piece of it and Miss Brown and need a title. But the first condition on the land settlement title is that the land is not to be subdivided. The land is not to be cut up. I beg of you, let us be careful how we go about and expend our money and pass on our money to persons who say, hey, the land is mine, because everybody in the community know that it's mine. And the first thing I always ask them, can I put everybody in the community in an envelope and send them to title's office? They need documentary proof. They do accept people down there. I have to send papers. So please, 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 give us a call when you're not sure. Khadija and I, we are very accommodating. We are very accommodating because we believe that we should pass on the knowledge. So before you do it, just ask us, please, to beg of you, send us a text message. And remember, my text line is 387-3183. 387-3183. And this person asks they can come to the Winchester office on Wednesday. And remember, the number for the Winchester office, 876-908-1950. 876-908-1950. You just call and make an appointment. Okay, Wednesday is good. Friday is good as well. I'll be in office those days. And there will be Khadija will be in as well. Remember the numbers to call, 922-411-325, 922-411-325. And the text line or the WhatsApp line, 876-387-3653. 3183. 876-387-3183. Okay, this person said they sent an email and would like to speak to me and give you a call after the program. Before the break, I was looking at a matter, but then I had to take a break. We had to take the break. And I was speaking to the question that the person wrote about their mother not liking the son-in-law, and the son-in-law being entitled to a portion of the property. And that is the reality. Your mother has died. She had 2 children. One child died after her. That child who died after her never had any child, but had a husband. When your mother died, half of the property was yours, half was for your sibling or your sister. Your sister died, her half, she never made a will, her half would have gone to her husband. So when you are sharing the property now and administering your mother's estate, half of the property will go to your sister's husband and half to you, or the proceeds of the sale. Okay, the fact that your mother didn't like him had nothing at all to do with it. If your sister had children, then what would happen is that her husband would have got a half of her half, so the husband would have ended up with a quarter and the children would have the other quarter. If your sister only had one child, I said it's complex, and if your sister only had one child, what would have happened is that you would end up with 3/6, which is a half. The husband would have 2/6, which is 1/3, and the child would get 1/6. So if it's one child, the child will get 1/6, the husband will get 2/6, and you will get 3/6. If 2 or more children, you would get a half, one child get a quarter, and the husband gets a quarter. But because there's no child, half for you, half for the husband. Which is why we say to persons, make wills. Will not complain about the will that the law has made for you when you have a chance to make the will. And we need to stop making these foolish excuses to say, hey, mama died suddenly, so she never gets to make a will. We need to stop. We need to stop. As soon as you reach 18, you should have a will. We need to get into this will writing culture. Because a lot of the conflict we're having in terms of deadlift and all of this, a lot of the conflict we're having is because persons are not making wills, persons are not sorting out their estate. There's no guarantee that we're going to lie down on our beds of affliction for 5, 6, 7, 8 years before we pass on. These days we don't know what is happening. As you hear somebody sick before you look around. It's a good thing they don't church toll bell already, because the bell songs will be dropped out, because people just dropping out like that, the bells will be tired. A lot of churches don't toll the bells again when persons pass on. But I'm saying to us listening to this program, we are begging you right away. I'm going to discuss with Khadija. I think this is about the 15th year of Land Solution. Maybe we should look to have a will writing clinic. Maybe we should look at something like that to celebrate our anniversary, to do some free wills for persons. Maybe we could even have some relationship, maybe in association with the Bethel Baptist Church. I discussed that with Khadija and the church legal aid clinic and see what we can do. Or maybe something in our office in Ochoa to celebrate our 15th year. But I beg of persons, let us deal with the land situation. And while I'm at it, I'm going to just give a little bit more about this succession, what happens when you die without a will. Because I just started and explained to you what would have happened with the lady and her 2 children. But when a person dies and does not make a will, and the person dies leaving land, if the person has a spouse, and most of this I will have to continue after the program. If the person has a spouse, as I said before, in relation to the daughter, if you have a spouse and you don't have parents or children, your spouse will get everything you die leaving, all your land, everything you die leaving, really. Everything, money, house, land, furniture, jewelry, everything. So if you die without a will and you don't have a child or parents, then the spouse is going to get everything. If you die without a will, as I said earlier, and you have a child and a spouse, the child is going to get 1/3 and the spouse 2/3. We're up on the break again. This is Land Solutions. I am Gloria Brown.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental.
We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515. Residents of Spanish Town and surrounding areas, Cumberland Medical takes care of all your general healthcare needs, including minor surgeries. Open daily, including Sundays and public holidays, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Cumberland Medical, 25 Cumberland Road, Spanish Town. Call 876-619-1105 and 6.
Tis the season, and One Spot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Get 30% off our 6-month subscription plan and receive 1 month free special access to Gleaner Premium. Dive into this world of exclusive content and enjoy live TV, live radio, thousands of hours of video on demand, the e-Gleaner, events, podcasts, and more. Simply log into onespotmedia.com and purchase the 6-month subscription plan. Get in with the joy of the holidays, all in one spot. Offer ends January 31. Conditions apply.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. All are encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the law offices of Brown, Findley and Company. Here once again is today's host of Land Solutions, attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. And just to tell the listeners, I'll be in Ocho Rios this Thursday between 10 and 1. So anyone, just give a call to the Ocho Rios office or give me a call here to make an appointment. So I'll be in the Ocho Rios office this Thursday. I was looking at the succession, which means that how you share property when a person dies. But I just want to look at two text messages. One is, good day, if the land is 5 acres, can I survey out 2 acres? Well, if you are the owner. But remember, you won't be able to get the title for the 2 acres unless you apply to the parish council for subdivision approval. So when you see land and you are buying a piece, you need to apply to, we call them the municipal corporations these days, but same parish council, you need to apply for permission to cut up the land. And sometimes the parish council might say the piece of land is too small, or they might say there's a condition on the title to say the land is not to be cut up. So you need to get the lawyer to get that condition removed first. So if you're going to buy land, which is what we say, before you're going to buy land, get a lawyer so the lawyer can give you the guidance. So in relation to cutting off these 2 acres, speak to a surveyor first, so the surveyor can make the application for subdivision. And I can tell you, the parish council might not be pleased with me, but I will tell you it's going to take you a few years. There's no hurry to do any business in Jamaica. Another text message. How long does it take to do a title transfer? It depends on what you mean by a title transfer. We have what we call straight transfer. So you have a title and you're selling everything to somebody, or you're giving somebody everything. That might take about 2 to 3 months. Sometimes can take even 30 days. So it depends. You have up to suppose you just transfer in a part, that's going to take longer. But just a straight transfer, document signed up, etc., etc. The work process from the signing to the completion should take a month to 3 months, depending, again, I said, on the situation. This other person, 10 children, 5 boys, 5 girls. 3 of the children died and they leave 1 child each. So what percentage do these kids whose mom died entitled to? There's no will. And you haven't said to me if those who have died, if they had spouses, because that is going to determine as well. So, but if the children will still get their parents 1/10. So each child will be entitled to 1/10. So when a parent dies, that parent 1/10 would go to that parent's child or the 1/10. If one of the siblings die leaving 10 children, the 1/10 is going to go to the 10 children will still get the 1/10. If they leave 1 child, the 1 child will get the 1/10. So 1/10 for everybody. Those who are alive, those who have died, their children will get their 1/10 share. So that is how it would be. Please remember the numbers are 922-411-325, 922-411-325. The text line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The email gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Also remember, I'm in Ocherios this Thursday.
Sorry, Miss Brown. I see a call coming through on one of our WhatsApp lines. I'm just wondering if this person is calling with a land-related matter. So perhaps we could just check that out.
Okay, Dervan.
Okay, so this is from Natalie, and Natalie, she says yes, it's land-related. Hello, good afternoon, Natalie. Go ahead, please.
Yes, just asking a question. If I was supposed to purchase a piece of land, see, and that piece of land has government road run through it, how would that purchase go? Would I, why? This is a strange one. How would that go? It would have to be, government would have to pay for the road, or I would have to pay for the road in the purchasing of the land.
I don't understand what you mean when you say the land has government road through it.
No, if I'm supposed to, I see a piece of land, right? Yes. And the government, in like, said they're doing a highway and so, and the road run through it, whether public road or government road run through it, right? Would that lessen the price of the land or increase the price of the land, or the government would have to pay me for the road that they run through it?
So if it is your land,
if I own the land.
Well, if you own the land and the government runs a road through it, they pay you for the land. They will pay you for all the properties at the highway. Yes, they pay you for the land, and they usually pay at market value. Usually, so when they're going to build these highways, they will contact everybody in the community and ask them. It's just that a lot of people don't get any money because they don't have any document to show they are the land. Yes, but the government will pay you for it, and it usually increases the value of your land when a road runs through it.
Okay. Yes, that's what I wanted to find out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, too.
Oh, all right.
Okay, bye-bye. So on that note from Natalie, bigger persons, we know that highways are going all over the place. We see the one that is just competent in Thomas, and we're going to be having them, which is why we encourage persons to get titles for your land, because no, you're not going to be compensated if you don't have a title for your land. We see the same challenge with bauxite land. How many persons the bauxite have taken their land to great-great-great-grandfather's land, and all know the great-great-grandchildren will have nothing to get. The bauxite companies have got rich out of the land, but there's nothing for you to get, because the first thing they are saying to you, hey, you never had any document to show you are the owner, so we're not compensating you. So I'm saying to persons, we have to get titles, and we have to make wills and leave proper succession, so the children after us will have something to claim. Because many of us, all we are leaving our children is trouble and poverty. When we have vast holdings of land, and a lot of us were allowing squatters to take away the generational land because we have done nothing to protect our interest or to preserve our interest in the properties. So if you're listening to me and you need a title for your piece of land, just all you need to do. Don't tell me I need a title. Just text me one word, title, and send that text or that WhatsApp message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. That's the WhatsApp number, and I'll gladly assist you. Good afternoon, Miss Bro. My dad died in 2019. My mother was married to him. There is a son who is not my mother's child, and he has taken possession of the property. What can I do? I am the one taking care of my mom. Heard his name is on the title. Very interesting. Because his name is on the title, he's going to be, and he's a joint tenant, he's going to be entitled to the entire property. So what you need to do is that you need to go down to the title office. One is in Manchester, one is in Mobile, one is in Kingston, and get a copy of the title. Remember, titles are public documents. You don't need any permission to go and get the title. If you have the tax number or the address, you just go to the title office. If you don't know the title number, you pay $1,000 and they do a search and give you a copy. If you know the title number, it just costs you $500 to get a copy. Because if his name is on the title and he's a joint tenant, he could be entitled to all of it. If mom has done anything and done any addition, she might be able to bring in some claim, etc. But remember, there's a law called the Property Rights of Spouses Act. And for a spouse to claim family home, and it doesn't even go after death anyway. So mom would not, if your father was still alive and the son's name on the title, there would be nothing for mom to get out of that property. So that's something that you need to look at and investigate right away, because if his name is on the title and he's there as a joint tenant, then you'd be entitled to the property and you could even give mom notice to leave. If it's a tenant in common though with his father, remember the tenant is written on the title. So when you call me and I ask you what the tenant, don't you think it is this? It's not something you think. It is a fact. It's a matter of fact. It's not a matter of what you think. So you look at the title. As long as more than one person on a title, a tenant is there. If it's a tenant in common with your stepfather, then your mother would be, and your stepfather never made a will, then your mother would be entitled to a portion of your stepfather's own. So suppose, for example, the son and the father are tenants in common in equal shares. That would mean when the stepfather died, half would go to the son and half would belong to the stepfather. The stepfather never made a will. What would happen is that if the son is the only child, then a half of the stepfather's half, which is a quarter, would go to your mother, and the other quarter would go to the son. So the son would end up with his half plus another quarter, which is three quarters. And your mother would end up with a quarter. So I want you to look at the title, look at the tenancies, and then have a talk with me. And these are things that spouses must deal with before. Mom should not allow her husband to die and don't know what the tenancy is and so on. All of that should be sorted on that, and she's not protected. Because this gentleman can get up tomorrow and give her a notice. And Mr. J, I see your request for a title. So if you need me to give you the information to get a title. But I see where Mr. JW has started the process already, but the questionnaires are not completed. And when I send you the information, I always send you a questionnaire and I send you some information. I want a history of the land. So don't just tell and say John Brown owned the land. You have to give me a history for 40 years. John Brown owned the land from 1970. He died in 1980. Mary Brown took it over. Then she sold it to Peter James in 1985. And Peter sold it to me in 2000. Give me a proper history with dates and names. Because I need that history to use to prepare a document for you. So that I can assist you in getting the title. And remember, the process is a little long. It's taking over a year, so we need to start now. And I'm pleased to say in relation to the probate, I really see where things are improving. And I must say, thanks to the Supreme Court and to the team, I see where things are improving. My husband passed, so I do all the paperwork for the land last year. Who's going to transfer the title in my name? How long it takes? Well, I want if your husband had children. Because if he had children and he never made a will to that, it could not go to you alone. But if housing is going to transfer it to you, when it comes to the Ministry of Housing and the Commission of Land, I never give time for them. Because some of those institutions, they are in no hurry to do anything. A lot of those institutions, they have kept Jamaicans poor over the years. Okay? I open a break again. This is Land Solution and Dervan. Thank you, Dervan.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Understand, it's in your power to have a positive relationship with money. A change in our financial situation starts with a change in how we think about money. Clearing out any negative feelings like insecurity or fear about money can help remove the blockages that may prevent improving your financial well-being. Your relationship with money is not fixed. It's one that can evolve over your lifetime. Three important things about the psychology behind your relationship with money. Money is about emotions, not just finance. Anxiety or avoidance of money issues may create a vicious cycle, and your upbringing may affect how you manage your money. With awareness, insight, and knowledge, you can start working to make empowered decisions about your money.
You're listening to the final segment of today's edition of Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your issues are dealt with when it comes to the sale or purchase of land. This is the right place. This is the right time. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions: 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in St. Andrew, halfway through St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. All are encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the law offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. And a reminder of the added service on Thursday morning from 10 until 1, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on a Thursday. Some extra special treatment there as far as land-related matters are concerned. Also, as you heard, there's the Bethel Baptist Church service as well that is offered as far as land-related matters are concerned. And hope we're not forgetting anything else. Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. I think you have covered it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes. So, listeners, I'm on at Bethel Baptist Church Legal Clinic on the 9th of March. And I'll be in Ocho Rios, as Dervan just told you, this Thursday between 10 and 1. But remember, an attorney is in Ocho Rios every day. Shop 6, Jamaica National Building, in the heart of Ocho Rios. The number to call 922-4113-5, and the text line is 387-3183. 387-3183. I started looking at the issue of succession earlier in terms of what happens when a person dies without a will. And remember, as I said, when a person dies without a will and you have a spouse and you don't have a child or a parent alive, then the spouse will get everything. If you have grandchildren alive, of course, they'll get their parents' share. But if you never had a child and you have a spouse, the spouse will get everything. If you don't have if you have one child and you have a spouse, then the child, then there's nothing for the parents to get. If you have one child, as long as you have a child, there's nothing for parents to get. Children only share with spouse. So you have a child and you have a spouse, the spouse will get 2/3 of what you died leaving, and the child will get 1/3. If you don't have a child and you have spouse and parents, the spouse will get 2/3 and the parents will get 1/3. If you don't have a spouse, your children will get everything. If you don't have children or parents, your spouse will get everything. If you don't have children or spouse, parents will get everything. If you don't have spouse, children, or parents, your full brothers and sisters, same mother, same father will get everything. If you don't have any of those, then your half brothers and sisters will get. So remember, as long as you have children, there's nothing for parents and there's nothing for brothers and sisters. If you don't have any spouse, children, parents, brothers and sisters, then your grandparents will get what you have. If you don't have any of those relatives, then your uncles and aunts of the full blood, your mother and father, same full brothers and sisters will get what you have. If you don't have any of those, then your half uncles and aunts will get, your mother and father, half brothers and sisters will get what you have. If you don't have any of those, then the government will get what you have. So in order for the government to get what you have, you'd have to show that there is nothing, that you don't have spouse children, parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, uncles and aunts. You'd have to show that you don't have any of those relatives in order for the government to get what you have. So you realize a lot of times with your person saying that, hey, I don't want the government to get what I have. You realize how many persons the government would have to override to get what you have. And that's another part of the challenge we talk about, that a part of the ignorance, and sometimes we talk the ignorance with such conviction, that we say that program it's important to educate the Jamaicans about matters like this. Another matter that I constantly speak about is in relation to property taxes. Because you have persons coming to the office so many times or calling to say, I need a title because I'm the one paying the taxes. And when you start questioning them, and I see it a lot of times in relation to particularly in relation to like somebody will come and they're living in the inner city and they're living in what we call a tenement. And you will hear them saying, there's a lot of families live there, but I am the only one paying the taxes, so can you get a title for me? And no, you can't get a title. Any title you get will be fraudulent, because paying the taxes will not make you the owner. All the persons who are living on that property would own the property. Especially they are there for a certain number of years. So 10 different families on the property and you alone paying the taxes. All it means is that the rest of them owe you money. But you are not the full owner, you cannot go and apply for a title. So we need to get this out of our head to see that paying taxes will give you more power than other persons. It does not work like that. Paying taxes will not give you ownership. It's good evidence when you own the property already and I'm trying to get a title for you and you can show me that you have old tax papers. That's good evidence to support the application, but you have had to own the property already. So please just remember that you cannot just claim property because you're paying taxes. Because most people in Jamaica are not paying any, and if you go and pay up their taxes, you think you could own their properties, just think about it. Of course, paying the taxes is a responsibility we have, but it's not evidence of ownership. So what am I saying to my listeners this afternoon? I'm encouraging us to make our wills. And remember, if you don't make a will and you die leaving a young child, that means a child under 18 years, the Administrator General will have to take over. The Administrator General will be in charge, and a lot of times they are not in a hurry. They are trying to deal with estates now for people who died even 50 years ago. So what has happened to a lot of the properties that have been under the directions, under directives, under the guidance of the Administrator General's Department, is that what has happened is that a lot of those properties have fallen prey to squatters. So persons have died, they have left their properties, and no provision was made in relation to making a will, and they had young children. Administrator General took over, and a lot of those properties the children have lost them because tenants were in them not paying rent over the years and have claimed squatters' rights. So I'm saying to persons, do not leave the estate or the future of your children in the hands of the Administrator General. Make wills where executors can control. And remember, executors are persons, and you hear me use that word all the time. Executors. Who are executors? Executors are persons who you appoint in your will, people you have confidence in. Because you are saying, when I die, these are the persons who are going to deal with everything I have died leaving. And executors are important people. Executors step in the shoes of the person who have died. So when you appoint John Brown as your executor, everything you could do when you were alive, John Brown can do it. So John Brown is going to get all the money that is in your bank account to share to whoever you left it to. John Brown is going to get your NHG contribution refund, your insurance money. John Brown's name is going to go on your title before it can be transferred to your children. John Brown has the right to sell your property, even though you said the property is not to be sold. So your executor has a lot of power. Choose your executors carefully. Remember, you can have as many as 4 executors, and sometimes it's suited to have the 4. Sometimes there's safety in numbers. So it might suit us to have the 4 executors. And remember also, executors are entitled to 6% of your estate. So you have a house value of $6 million, and you make somebody your executor, that person is entitled to $600,000. And if there's no money to pay the executor the $600,000, they have the right to sell. So that's something that we need to know about. Which is why a lot of times I even say to persons, and I say it on the program all the time, a warm gift is better than a cold gift. So you have your children, you have your schools, you have your relatives, and you want them to get your assets. Give it to them while your hands are warm. Give it to them while you're alive. Don't wait until your hands are cold, which means when you're dead. So a warm gift is better than a cold gift. Give it now, if you can, because it will save the probate and the executor's fee and all of that. But again, you have to be careful. Because sometimes you give the property to the children while you're alive and they become a nightmare. I say it on the program all the time about a lady out in St. Thomas who gave her property to her child, transferred it to the child, and the child gave her a notice to leave the home. So these are some of the things that we have to be so careful about. Which is why I always say, if I'm going to give my property to my child, I'm going to take a life interest. So the title will read, to Gloria Brown for life, and after death too, and name the children. So while you are the life tenant, you have the right to do what you want with the property. And when I do that, I always let the persons we call them the remainder men, the persons who get it after death, let them sign a disclaimer to say, if I sell the property, the money is mine. If I pour money on it, it's mine. So you put that in place. But if you can do the things as part of your estate planning and transfer your assets while you're alive, it's much cheaper and it's much easier, especially when your beneficiaries live abroad. Because it's a little challenging sometimes and a little difficult for them to be able to manage the assets from overseas. And sometimes they have to wait to get probate before they can get the tenant out of the house and all of that. And we know the challenges. But in 2024, what we are trying to say to you, what Khadija is trying to say to you, and what I'm trying to say to you in 2024, I'm encouraging you to sort out your assets, to plan your estate. Let us get rid of this ignorance and say, if I make a will, I'm going to die, so I'm not going to make any. Because we don't, half of Jamaica not making any, and they're certainly not, well, not half, 80%, and they're certainly not living forever. So we need to get rid of this mindset to say we're not going to make a will, or we soon make it. Okay, I always say making a will is like salvation. We all plan to be saved, just not today. And then time catches up on us. So my word to my listeners this afternoon is, let us sit down and look at the situation. And if you need a title, just send me a WhatsApp message or a text message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Just send me a text message to say all you have to say is title, and I'll assist you. Want us to help you to write a will? Give us a call. Give me a call, 876-387-3183. We have an office in Winchester Business Center and in Ocho Rios. I'll be in Ocho Rios this Thursday between 10 and 1. But I'm going to beg my listeners, if you want to see me in Ocho Rios, just give a call and make arrangement so we can assist you at that end. But remember, there's an attorney in the Ocho Rios office in the JN building every week, every day of the week. And we also have our Winchester Business Center office, which is open every day of the week. I'm encouraging you, if you ever write the will for yourself, and call me and send me a copy, I'll look at it and give you some guidance. And remember, when you write the will, always have a residuary clause. I leave all I have not given away. Always put that the last part in there. I leave all I have not given away yet in this will too, and put the name of the person. Really want to thank you for continuing to support Land Solutions. This is our 15th year, and we hope we can make something of it. We will that all with Dervan. But for now, I want to say thanks to everybody for listening, those who continue to enjoy Land Solutions, who continue to learn. Thanks to Dervan, thanks to Adrian, and thanks to you, my valued listeners. We look forward to sharing again with you next week on Land Solutions. Have a good day.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs-controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Tis the season, and One Spot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Get 30% off our 6-month subscription plan and receive 1 month free special access to Gleena Premium. Dive into this world of exclusive content and enjoy live TV, live radio, thousands of hours of video on demand, the e-Gleena, events, podcasts, and more. Simply log into onespotmedia.com and purchase the 6-month subscription plan. Get in with the joy of the holidays, all in one spot. Offer ends January 31. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon, and thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Horror 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Hello to Hubert Fowlin. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Inez Ayona Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. I'm here in Jamaica, and I must tell you, nothing but rain here in Linstead. Please stay dry and safe. Inez Ayona Campbell. All the very best. Sammy Lee Weller says, good afternoon to one and all. We reciprocate wholeheartedly, Sammy Lee Weller. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere. We are experiencing some awful weather and storms here in the UK. Although we are very lucky in the south, at some parts in England are really bad. Take care, everybody. Well, we're sorry to hear of the weather situation that you're having to deal with. We trust that you will be able to, in a manner of speaking, ride out your storm. We really hope so. We'll keep an eye on you and our other fellow Jamaicans as we continue. Hello to Sharon Richards. She says, blessed afternoon, Sir Malcolm, and all listeners near and far. Have a wonderful day, and you do likewise, Sharon Richards. Jessica says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Jessica. Norman Hines in St. Thomas. Greetings to you too. Cherry Henry, hello, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Good to have you on board. Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott in East Central St. Andrew says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan and everyone listening. Good afternoon, Jennifer Stewart. Mikey Jarrett says, Monday afternoon, blessings and blessed love, my brother, Dervan Malcolm from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you very much for the greeting from Brooklyn in New York. And Orinthia Campbell says, hi, Mr. Malcolm. Hello to you, Orinthia. Thank you very much for your message, and we appreciate your messages. Keep them coming in here on Both Sides of the Story, Horror 106 FM. So earlier on, just about an hour or so ago, we were taking you back in time to speaking of time, it was 3:30 p.m. on this day in 1907. A very violent aftershock appeared. A very violent aftershock occurred in Kingston 8 days after the January 14, 1907 earthquake. This account was given by Frank Barnum, S.J., a nephew of the founder of the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Frank Barnum was in Montego Bay on Monday, January 14, 1907, when the earthquake struck and was able to reach Kingston the following morning. So on this day in 1907, Frank Barnum reported aftershocks at 3:30 p.m. In fact, according to Mr. Barnum, while shocks had been occurring daily, the one felt at 3:30 p.m. on this day in 1907 proved to be the strongest since the Great One, and it created a fresh panic. At our hospital, he went on, the patients were all much excited, and one poor woman dropped dead from fright. These continual shocks keep up the general nervousness, which is fomented by the will harangues of a number of prophets who go about foretelling still greater evils yet to come. If these nuances were arrested and locked up in jail, the town would become more tranquil. A very popular almanac here has a prediction of a great earthquake for the 29th. The editor really came very near it after all. These Jamaicans, however, think that it is still to come, and so there is much alarm over it. So this was 1907, right here in Jamaica. Also happened on this day in 1960, the heaviest rainfall ever in Jamaica in one day of 38.46 inches was recorded at Bowden Pen in Portland on this day in 1960. And let's go to 1962, a bit of just a snippet of the story of the National Stadium, part of the story of the National Stadium. On this day in 1962, more than 1,000 workers employed to C.J. Fox, the firm engaged to construct the National Stadium at Briggs Park in Kingston. That's what it used to be called, Briggs Park, before it was known as Independence Park. The workers began a go-slow in protest against the non-payment of height premium pay. They maintain they should get this height pay because the grandstand of the National Stadium is over 60 feet high. The plans called for the completion of the stadium, which at the time, Jamaica's National Stadium was larger than Wembley Stadium in London, England, by July 21st. So the plans called for the completion of the stadium, which at the time was larger than Wembley Stadium in London, England, by July 21st. Let's go to 1968. The finance minister, Edward Seaga, who also had portfolio responsibility for cultural development, declared officially open Dervan House, the 19th century mansion on Hope Road in St. Andrew, as an uptown exhibition hall to display Jamaican historical and cultural exhibits, mount art exhibitions, and present a permanent display of period furniture. The Port Royal Grog Shop and 2 craft shops were the first to be opened. An orchid house and aviary were also scheduled to be established. 3 years earlier, the Daily Gleaner of August 27, 1965, reported the Honorable Edward Seaga has served an interim preservation notice on the building known as Dervan House, the finest 19th century residence remaining in the island. In addition to the main building, there are outbuildings which are older than the main structure and containing some of the finest ovens and other brickwork of the period. The interim notices are served by the minister under the law when he considers that a monument is in danger of destruction, removal, or damage and remains effective for a period of 21 months. Steps are then taken during the period to ensure the preservation of the building. The Devon House Mansion is the architectural dream of Jamaica's first Black millionaire, George Steebell. Steebell was among three wealthy Jamaicans who constructed elaborate homes during the late 19th century at the corner of Trafalgar Road and Hope Road, which fittingly became known as the Millionaire's Corner. Daniel Finzi and the Verleys were the other families that resided in the area. However, both homes were eventually demolished to make way for development ventures, including the construction of Abbey Court Apartments. Steebell's legacy lives on with a beautifully maintained Devon House, which was declared a national monument in 1990 by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. It was in 1960 that architect Tom Concannon, who led the restoration of Devon House, expressed his suspicions that the history of Devon House does not begin with the construction of the mansion in 1881. According to Concannon, one of the central roles of the British government was to introduce religion to the people of Jamaica, and Reverend John Zellers was among 5 ministers selected for service in the island. On his arrival, Reverend Zellers was appointed to serve the parish of St. Andrew. The glebe, as land attached to the Anglican Church was termed, was awarded to Reverend Zellers. In the letter of patent given by Charles II on May 1667, Reverend Zellers was assigned land, meadow, pasture, and woodlands, same containing 600 acres, together with all edifices, woods, trees, rents, commodities, ways, and passages, and all mines and minerals whatsoever in the premises. Devon Penn, because that was the original name, Penn, Devon Penn was part of the 600 acres awarded to Zellers. The glebe lands, Glebe, glebe lands, which fell to Zellers, stretched from the site of the St. Andrew Parish Church north to Sandy Gully, encompassing Old Church Road and including the grounds of the present King's House. To the south, it bordered Trafalgar Pen, now occupied by the British High Commission. Among the first undertakings by Zellers was the construction of a church on a piece of land bordered by Upper Waterloo Road and West King's House Road. 50 years later, the rectory was built on foundations now occupied by the Devon House Mansion. It is believed that Reverend George Eccles, who served the parish between 1747 and 1760, was the first minister to live in the new rectory. The Reverend Hubert H. Isaacs was the last rector residing at Devon Pen before the church sold the property. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Poor roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll-free at 1-888-429-5NWA. That's 1-888-429-5692. Or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica. The National Works Agency, developing safe, reliable, and quality roads.
Please bear with us, studio. This one runs deep and touches different sectors and industries and lives. We're going to come to the calls 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
I must say thank you very much, sir, on Friday. You graced my hometown with your presence and your show. It's London, Westmoreland.
It was a pleasure. We really enjoyed our time.
It's my place of birth, you know.
Oh, really now?
Yes, yes.
Very good, very good. Where exactly? Was same place in Little London, or was it closer to Negril?
No, right in the heart of Little London, a little district called Broughton. Then at age 10, I moved to a place in Topford Cottage.
What's it called? What's that one called?
Top Road Cottage Road.
Top Road Cottage Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's close to where the secondary school is.
Mm-hmm.
We have the primary school is not too far away, so to the police station.
Mm-hmm.
And the where the Methodist church is, that's where Charles Lewin White is buried.
Oh.
There's a cemetery right inside that church nowadays. And that was the old primary school that I started going as a kid.
Sorry, we lost a bit of what you were saying. Come again?
I was saying that the Methodist church, that's where Charles Lewin White was buried.
Oh, Charles Lewin's wife. Oh.
He's buried there, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And there's a school there, that's the school that I started, and I moved to when they built a new school on the other side, and that's where I went. Then I went to the London Tech.
Okay.
Right. It was very nice here, and it makes me feel so good to see you in my hometown, and here in my hometown.
Uh-huh. Well, we thank you for the hospitality. We felt it.
Yes, sir. There's something I want to look at quickly here, sir.
Yes.
We're looking at our pension, and they're saying that the money is not good, the money is not enough. But so what happened is that we agree that the money is small, but we need to have more young people working that they can pay to this in an institution, because if we're having less people working, then how much will it benefit the pensioners? The investment that they use with the pension for the NIS money, how much will that bring into help to make the situation better? They can pay more. Now, as we see the birth rate falling even in Jamaica here, population is getting older. Perhaps when I need to get retirement benefit, I may not be able, because there will not be enough people working to pay for the system. So this is something that we're looking into, and we understand that the money is not enough for the pensioners, but we have to look at how much is paid into the system. And I don't know if all the self-employed people are paid in it. I remember when Agent Nicholson was responsible for that, he was saying that when pensioners has gotten an increase, but at the same time the workers was given, I think, was able to have to pay more in order to benefit them. So that's a tricky situation. So if I don't know if the government is willing to take more, they can take more from the workers to benefit the pensioners. And how will it work? I don't know. But I'm very happy that I don't have that today to worry about, you know. But this is something that we're looking into, because it's just not an overnight fix. Because by 2060, as it said, worldwide, the population is going to be shrinking because less people having kids, and we're having the older generation who will be more dependent on government. So, what do you think, sir?
Yeah, well, life will go on with or without us, for sure. There's no question about that. But the least we can do is to continue to make our contribution to the development of our country and our world, and leave our footprints behind, and hope and trust that those who come behind us, as the song says, will indeed find us faithful.
Mr. Malcolm, I respect, sir, and thanks again for visiting my hometown.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for the call. All the best.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. And the man who loves the history, David Crosburn, couldn't wait to call us, having heard a bit of the history shared so far. Hello, David Crosburn. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all your listeners at home and abroad. I really thank you and the wonderful and splendid.
Hello. Oh, he's having some internet issues. Trying to reconnect
Hello?
with us. Yes, hearing you.
Yeah. The Jaja Foundation, I just want to congratulate him and for his sterling work and deeply appreciate it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, and boy, there's so much in your presentation and your opening. Everything just dovetail one with the other. You mentioned the name C.J. Fox, who built this stadium, our national stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes.
Dervan, he managed the affairs of C.J. Ward as well, you know. C.J. Ward owned the Monimus estate in China at one stage. So C.J. Fox is interred at the Ali Anglican Church in here, Clarinham. It's miraculously, I attended a funeral there, and I was just going. There's a main door from the road, and it actually goes, the front door take you right through the church. So as I came out at the, call it the western end and the western door and the eastern door, his remains is interred right at the eastern door, at the corner and adjoined the church. When I looked down and I saw the name C.J. Ward, C.J. Fox, I was so taken aback, knowing that I read that he was in charge of the Monimus Sugar Factory during the period that it was owned by C.J. Ward. And I don't know if you've ever been to that church, but there are several other very interesting persons that and their contribution to Jamaica that are interred in that churchyard, you know.
And that's not the only one. I'm amazed. Well, I guess maybe part of our culture of being afraid of dopey and related matters why we shy away. But there's just so much to be learned by virtue of the I think there's a term for it too. I'm trying to remember. You know, there's a lot to be learned by visiting these cemeteries and reading up on some of these individuals, etc. There's a lot to learn.
A lot. And then you mentioned now about the earthquake in 1907.
Yeah.
It's so very interesting. At the time of that earthquake, a gentleman from Barbados, the Bovels, narrowly escaped serious injury and possible death because he had just arrived from Barbados.
What's his name?
And was a Bovel, Bovell.
Oh, Bovel.
Bovel.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I just came into the island from Barbados. They were having like a conference at the Hope. You have to bear in mind, Dervan and listeners, Hope, where the Ministry of Agriculture and all those, there was serious research that took place there. You know. They have a government chemist by the name of C.C. Cousins. He did extensive research on sugarcane varieties and so on. They actually developed some of the cane varieties in Jamaica. That was before the research in Mandeville was established.
And before the sugar industry, what do you call it? Sugar industry. Authority.
Authority. Yeah, long for. For the sugar industry research in Mandeville. It's a diamond in the rough. But because we do not value these things, we remain in a destitute position. But at Hope, the government chemist C.C. Cousins did a lot of research with cane varieties, and so this gentleman from Barbados, Bobel, because Barbados is the engine, is the apex for the cane variety development. You know, there's a very interesting story where a layman found a lantern. They use a lantern in developing the cane industry. But that is a story for next time, you know, how he found the lantern. And by that lantern, Barbados. So some of our very prolific cane varieties, such as BJ 7015, was developed by Barbados, and many more. So Barbados and Jamaica, and also some earlier varieties like the POJ was developed by Puerto Rico and Jamaica. However, in closing, the concern that many have about pension and these things, I don't think we are thinking outside the box to solve our problem.
No, the problem is the box. The box is the problem. Get the box out the way. Move it out the way.
Yeah, the silo. For example, in 1901, Dervan, Jamaica released a postage stamp. I will say, I'll tell you, promise to send it to you, but give me time. I'll take it and deliver it personally. I have 5 postage stamps. Miraculously, those 5 stamps came into my hand. The one from 1901 is 122 years old. That stamp sold 6 million copies of that stamp was produced and sold in 1901. It entered a special competition. The stamp bear the fall out in Richmond by the name of Landover. Landover was a sugar factory by itself. If you look on the seaside, you'll see the chimney still standing there. So they have a lovely fall, which was used in that stamp that sells the 6 million copies. So I'm saying we should use what we have in our hand. We could have a reprint of those 6 million stamps.
One moment, please. One moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Are you passionate about agriculture? Join hands with the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, the leading youth organization dedicated to supporting the next generation of youth participants in agriculture. Unleash your agricultural potential through our stimulatory and mastery level training, enterprise support programs, tractor operation and maintenance, along with our agricultural scholarships and bursaries to help you achieve your academic academic goals. Stay connected. Follow us on social media today at Jamaica 4-H Clubs.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts in this earthquake, make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without air. Drop, cover, hold on.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
The store 6 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-45. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir? And your audience?
I'm giving thanks, and I trust it's the same for everybody else.
Oh, well, I said that you could answer for that. You see just a position like me, assuming. Yes, Dervan.
Yes, sir, we're here.
I asked you a month ago, but so much thing I've been asked of you saying, forgetting mine, I wouldn't feel anyway. Remember, in November, we spoke, and I told you to find out if the Prime Minister had filed his declaration, because the Integrity Commission had been to him, and he said he complied with one letter. And they wrote another request, and he will go and comply in 3 days. 3 days has been going to 6 weeks now. What's the position on his filing, sir? Any news you can share?
I haven't heard anything new at all.
All right.
It's
Don't you think as a leader, that's a